Hey, are you feeling alright? Whatever, I'm just screw around here. Ever since then, I've been unable to react at all when I see Mark. I'm home. Huh? Where's dinner? It seems like the shadow is speaking to me. I can't understand what it's saying. Hey, kids, please say something to your mom. No way. You know what, we don't need dad in this house. My name is Sarah. I'm a 40-year-old mother of two. My husband, Mark, is 2 years older than me. We got married when I was 25. We were colleagues at the same company. We started dating about a year after I joined the company. We got married when I got pregnant, and at Mark's request, I became a homemaker. He said, "I'll earn enough for us, so all you need to do is take care of the housework." At the time, I felt those words very reassuring. Then our son, Max, was born, followed by our daughter, Mia, 2 years later. After that, my life became a whirlwind of housework and childcare. This was because I didn't have parents or parents-in-law nearby to rely on. My parents and parents-in-law lived over an hour away by plane, and I had come out to New York for college. Even when my mother came to help during childbirth, it wasn't feasible for her to stay long. In hindsight, both times I should have temporarily returned to my parents' house to give birth. But back then, Mark's words about managing the home deeply rooted in me. My mother always said, "Come back home whenever it gets tough." Unaware of this, my younger self rejected what Mom said. Mark is now a sales manager at a mid-sized trading company. This year, as Mia entered middle school, I started part-time job. This was because Mark started saying, "We should probably send Max to a private high school, don't you think?" I was fine with Max attending either a public or private school, wherever he wanted to go. Where I grew up, public schools were the only option, so I wasn't familiar with the difference. But it seemed that Mark thought differently. You might not know, but in the corporate world, your alma mater can create significant divisions. To get into a good university, public schools won't cut it. Private is the way to go. I wish he had mentioned this when Max was entering middle school. It's ridiculous. If there's somewhere I really want to go, I'll find a good prep school myself. Max would say this and show me various prep schools and summer and winter courses he found online. Mia, who adores her brother, would watch over his shoulder and ask him to let her know if he found anything good. Alas, my children are better at gathering information than I am. As a parent, the least I can do is not hinder their educational paths. That's why I started part-time job, not just to rely on Mark's income but to contribute to their tuition fees. But when I brought this up, Mark simply said, "I see. Then let them do as they please. Do you just want them to get into a good school? Isn't that all parents can do?" That was all he answered. Indeed, he was right. Things parents can do are limited. However, every time I was told that, a feeling of being shunned built up inside me. Maybe I feel this way because I spend so little time with Mark. Ever since Mia was born, we don't make love anymore. Of course, it might be because I was always busy and tired from childcare. Mark would say to me, "If it's too much, you should ask someone for help." I appreciated those words. But because of that, I ended up trying to do everything on my own. I fainted once because I was pushing myself too hard. That's when I finally broke down and called my mother. She hurried over on a 1-hour flight and helped take care of me and the 2 kids for a while. I mentioned to her about the babysitter Mark had talked about. If he says so, it's okay to leave them somewhere once in a while. You've always been like this. Trying to do everything on your own until you're overwhelmed, she said. Lying there, I felt relieved by my mother's comforting hand, but also ashamed of myself. Yes, I always wanted to accomplish what Mark asked of me on my own. And then, I would be exhausted and fall asleep at night. Before I knew it, we had become a sexless couple. By the time I wondered about us as a couple, so much time had passed that I'd lost count. Of course, sometimes I thought, why won't you help out? Spend some time with the kids. But another part of me would immediately counter that. It's because Mark is working so hard that I can always be with the kids. I'm truly grateful for that. So I feel I must do my part properly. Even if it leads to a life filled with passing each other by. Then one day, Mia started doing her own laundry, saying she'd take care of it from now on. Is that okay? She asked, even though she hadn't really helped out before. It was surprising. What's up? I mean, it's great and appreciated that you want to do your own laundry, but… Mom, you've been busy lately. No, that's not it. Mom, I don't like washing my clothes with Dad's. Come to think of it, she's always been sensitive to slight changes in smell and often made such remarks. Dad's laundry smells weird. I don't want his smell to transfer to my clothes. Mom doesn't use anything that smells, so it's fine. Please don't use anything. At the time, I thought it might be about the cologne he always used, so I didn't think much of it. And now she's in puberty. I had often heard that daughters tend to dislike their father's belongings. But the story didn't end there. Mom, I need to talk to you. One night, after I returned from my part-time job, Max was waiting for me. His grave expression told me it was no trivial matter. As we moved to the living room, taking off my coat, I asked, "What's wrong? It's rare for you to look so serious." "Yeah, it's about Dad." I was taken aback. As we sat facing each other on the living room sofa, Max said, "Mom, how much do you know?" "About what?" Max sighed softly. "Well, I see. What do you want to say?" "Mom, listen to me carefully and calm down. Mia told me that Dad is cheating on you." "What?" "Affair." I never expected to hear such a word from the mouth of 15-year-old son. "Mom, you really didn't notice, did you, from the way you're reacting? But Dad is always so busy with work. Come on, Mom, let's face it. How come we've never taken a single family vacation together, all four of us, no matter how much of a workaholic he is? Is my father's company really that vicious? But your father is busy as a department head right now, right? Now he is. But what about when he was a manager before he became head of the department? You know what, there are kids in my class who are in a similar family situation. Like Dad is so busy that the kids don't usually get a chance to see him. But that's why they make up for it by taking them on trips abroad during summer vacation. What about us?" Max added. I fell silent. What he mentioned was true. It's always been me, just me, taking our two kids to visit my parents or my parents-in-law in the countryside during the summer vacation and Christmas holidays. Since it's a plane ride away, we sometimes visit other places too. There are tourist spots worth seeing. So I thought that was enough. Maybe I was trying to think that way. I always thought Dad was irresponsible, Max said. Irresponsible is a bit of an overstatement, since it's your father who is supporting our family. That's just financial support, right? What Mia and I are saying is, whether he actually cares about Mom and us. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. Oh, they finally say that. And then Mia started hating the smell of Dad's laundry. She realized it smelled like women's perfume. When? You know, she goes out with her friends on weekends, right? And even if she doesn't buy it, she at least picks up a bottle of perfume, right? It changes from time to time, but she's noticed that the perfume that comes out of my dad's laundry is usually the one that women wear. Max explained. Mia, sensitive to smells, had remembered them. And first let me apologize to you for something, Max added. For what? I've skipped prep school's class a few times. I followed Dad. Wait, what did you do late at night? That's why I apologized first. I thought Mia might end up doing it if I didn't. And you know what? Dad isn't working crazy late. He leaves around 7 p.m., not exactly on time, but not too late. And there was a woman with him. A woman. They went into the red light district together. I didn't have the guts to follow them any further on my own. Of course, you shouldn't. I shouted. Yeah. So, that's all I can tell you, and I'm sorry, Max said. Don't be sorry. I shook my head vehemently. It's not your fault. But what happens next is a matter for the adults. Yeah. But just remember this. Mia and I are on your side, Mom. After that conversation, Max never brought up the topic again. Honestly, I had a suspicion all along. I just didn't want to admit it. So, I pretended not to see it, believing that was the best way to protect our home. But it turned out that the children couldn't bear it any longer. This can't be right. I can't keep making my children feel terrible just because of my stubbornness. So, I took a bold step and hired a detective agency to investigate. The cost was more than I expected, but I felt it was worth investing all my part-time earnings. The result was conclusive. As I looked through the evidence sent by the agency, I felt something inside me break. What had I been maintaining this family for, and for whom? I had thought that even though he wasn't home now, there would come a time when Mark and I could enjoy our time together as a couple. That's what I thought, but... Mom? How long had I been in a daze? The documents I had been reading, having taken the day off from work. I hadn't been able to do anything until the kids came home. Is this? No. I covered the evidence with my body to hide it from Max's view. Why not? I want to know too. This isn't something for children to see. Come on, I'm already 15, you know? Still not okay. I get it. Yes, it's just not acceptable. But even so, I can't settle on what to do next. While I was pondering this, Mark came home. Startled, I hid the envelope containing the evidence in a kitchen cabinet. I'm home. When he entered the room and I saw him, I involuntarily exclaimed, "Huh? What is this feeling?" I couldn't help but think. Surely, that's Mark. My husband. But at the same time, I think, like it's not my husband. No, it isn't even human. Then what is it? These thoughts were swirling in my mind. And now, my mind comes to this conclusion. Well, this is something that shouldn't be here now. Hey, you feeling okay? Whatever, I'll just screw around here. Since then, I've been unable to react at all when I see Mark. His figure gradually lost its outline, becoming just a vague shadow. So, much of what happened afterward, I heard from Max and Mia. Unconsciously, I started avoiding Mark's laundry in the basket. I only made meals for 3. But it didn't immediately turn into a big deal. Because Mark rarely came home early. However, one day, while the 3 of us were having dinner. I'm home. Huh? Where's dinner? Hey, kids, please say something to Mom. No way. Why do we have to tell Mom for you? Max said to it. You know what, we don't need Dad in this house. Then Mia took out her phone and started making a call. Hey, Grandma, it's Mia. He's here, come over quickly. Why is Mia calling my mom? Voices saying stop it, and it's too late echoed. I just watched the scene as if it were happening to someone else. About 10 minutes later, my parents rushed in with another man. Mia indeed called her grandmother, my mother. But how did they arrive so quickly? What's going on? Mom. What happened? Oh, Sarah. You've gotten so thin. My mother hugged me. My father, George, approached the kids, putting his arms around their shoulders and patting them. Grandpa. Okay, you've done well. We'll take care of it from here, so go to your rooms. No. I want to say it directly to Dad, who drove Mom into the corner. Drove me into the corner? Mom, do you know what state you're in right now? We called Grandma and Grandpa because Mom broke down. Broke down? Broke down? What do you mean by that? You know, Dad. Mom doesn't think of you as Dad anymore. Huh? What are you talking about, Max? Sarah. My dad gently asked me. How many servings did you make for dinner today? What are you talking about? There are 3 of us, so I made 3 servings. Oh, didn't you eat yet, Dad? I need to make something for you right away. My mother held me back as I started to get up. No, Sarah, that's not it. We've already eaten, so don't worry about us. We're just here to talk to him. Him? I looked in the direction my mother indicated. A vague, gray shadow was swaying. The kids sent this to us. What? Dad fluttered an unfamiliar envelope in front of me. A detective agency. Oh, you've forgotten about that too. My mother grieved. But I couldn't understand why she looked so close to tears. That over there is your husband, Mark. The shadow stopped moving, saying, uh-huh. What do you mean, Sarah? The shadow was saying something to me. But the words entered my ears without making any sense in my mind. That's what I've been saying, it's your fault Mom broke down, she can't even recognize you anymore. Huh? Stop joking around. Sarah, you know who I am, right? I felt a sudden grip on my collar from the shadow. But it still felt like the voice was coming from far away, and I couldn't understand what was being said. Stop it, Dad. Look into Mom's eyes. Let go of Sarah, Mark. My dad pulled me away from the shadow. And then my parents started bombarding the shadow with words. Mom, you might not understand what I'm saying right now. Max said, holding my shoulders and looking me in the eye. We noticed something was wrong with you, so we contacted Grandma and Grandpa. Something wrong with me? Yes. You couldn't bear Dad's affair, and now you can't even see him. That's not true, Max. Mark has already passed away, hasn't he? Huh? A baffled voice came from the shadow. Seeing my expression then, Max looked like he was about to cry. You understand now, Dad? That's what's going on. The shadow slowly sank into the ground. During this time, Mia had set up a tablet and seemed to be connecting to someone. Grandpa, can you see me? Mia, are you ready over there? That voice belonged to my father-in-law, Daniel. Grandpa, it's ready. Hi Daniel, it's been quite a while. Hi George. I was hoping to head over there and meet you properly, but unfortunately, my wife is not feeling well. I understand. Your wife was very attached to Mark. She was too much into her son. Hey, Mark. A voice loud enough to crackle through the tablet echoed. What, Dad? What's going on? What do you mean what's going on? We've received a copy of the evidence of your affair. It must have been a shock to Sarah. Dad, you too believe that I... Shut up. How many years has it been since you visited us during the summer or holidays? The only reason we didn't blame you is that Sarah always covered for you. I never asked her to do that. Still have more to say? Your mother couldn't help but complain to Sarah about you not visiting us, even though she knew she shouldn't. And this is the reason you couldn't come? Should I read out the documents? Daniel, may we handle this over here? Sure. I will be sure to keep a close eye on my son after he hears this. Then, I'll say it. You've been in a conspicuously close relationship with your coworker Ashley for 10 years, even causing rumors at work. You kept telling Sarah to stay home, which prevented her from meeting her old colleagues, while you freely indulged in your affair. You two even went on overseas trips without visiting us for 10 years. And Ashley believes you'll marry her, huh? She was 25 when you started. And now she's 35. She's also to blame, but she's willing to pay alimony in case of divorce. And what about you? You wasted the best 10 years of her life for marriage? Huh, we hadn't heard that part, but it seems things have gone that far. Hey, Mark. I felt the shadow quiver. Joseph, the attorney that George arranged for Sarah, has started the process and the court papers are already in hand. Fill them out and sign them as soon as possible. And you and Ashley will pay Sarah alimony for pushing to this point. I won't let you get away with a penny. But... Dad, please, I'm begging you, help me. No way. Do you know, Mark, when we saw the documents, your mother collapsed and has been hospitalized since then. Whose fault do you think that is? Mom's in the hospital? I'd like to punch you myself for continuing your affair for 10 years. How dare you stand before me and say such things? Every day in the hospital bed, your mother cries, thinking her upbringing was wrong. But, Dad, you're my parent, you should help me, right? At an age when people start thinking about their parents' care, you're still so naive? Don't worry, we won't need your care. We're cutting ties with you. No way. Well, it's a good thing you're an only child. The little inheritance we intended to leave you will go to Max and Mia instead. Don't say that, please help me. Enough. I'm hanging up. George, we leave the rest to you. Ashley might be at fault, but it seems she was mostly deceived by him. But we'll leave that to your discretion. Thank you, we'll take care of it thoroughly. Don't worry, we won't cause any physical harm. The tablet's video and audio cut off. Let's discuss the divorce then. It seems the man who came with them was the lawyer Joseph. He stepped forward smoothly. Sarah, are you willing to divorce? Divorce? But, we're a family of 3. Yes. But we need your signature here to formalize it. Right. Even if the husband is dead, we still need to file the paperwork, don't we? Dead. Yes, this is really what I found out later when I got my own mind straight. I really thought so at the time. Mark was dead, and he was no longer here. Since when? As days passed, in my mind, Mark's affair and his frequent absences had been replaced with the notion that he was dead. That's why, even when Mark was supposedly in front of me, I couldn't perceive him as a living person, just a vague shadow. Of course, this became clear after counseling later on. So, even if there were contradictions in my current life, I couldn't notice them. All I thought about was wanting to protect the life with my 2 children. That was all. Not inviting Ashley to the scene was a decision made after discussions between my parents and my parents-in-law. They probably thought it was too much for the children to meet their father's mistress in person. Especially Mia, who was firmly against it. So, the matter was left entirely in Joseph's hands. Ashley, having made up her mind, apologized respectfully. I wasn't without doubts. Even if he kept saying we'd marry someday, 10 years was just too long. Still, I clung to that sliver of hope. And regarding my deteriorated condition, Mark always told me his wife was cold to him, but I never imagined something like this. Apparently, Mark always portrayed me as a cold woman who excluded him from the family. My sympathy for him turned into love, but now I see. I was just being deceived by him. Her voice was trembling with anger at that moment. Joseph, I'll pay the alimony to his wife properly. And I have a request. I want to sue him for marriage fraud. Is that possible? Do you have evidence? I recorded his words just in case a time like this would come. And the matter of marrying him after he divorced? This incident has completely opened my eyes. I'm breaking up with him. She was known as an expert in the office, a person with solid skills. The evidence was well organized and neatly arranged. Her love turned into unbearable hatred towards him. In the end, Mark turned even Ashley he thought was on his side against him. Afterward, both of them ended up leaving the company. However, the circumstances seem to have been somewhat different. Their relationship had been somewhat known within the company. It simply wasn't out in the open. That's why Ashley revealing that she was suing Mark over this matter was significant. Why would you do something like that? I've been waiting all this time, thinking you were stuck in a cold marriage, unable to divorce. What now? We went summer vacation trips together, right? It was you who came crying to me, saying your wife told you not to come. I was shocked when I heard about your wife's condition. Ashley resigned voluntarily after making everything clear to those around her. She paid the alimony to me in one lump sum, with a note of apology attached. As a result, Mark also ended up leaving the company. The company didn't need an employee who brought legal trouble. The alimony for me and the child support for the kids were initially covered by his parents. The plan was to later recoup the costs from Mark's personal savings, sale of his belongings, and then consistently from his monthly income. Considering his age and former managerial position, it's questionable what kind of job he can find now. But that's not for me to worry about. Immediately following the day I confronted Mark, I was admitted to the hospital for recuperation. Half of the reason was for medical tests, and the other half was for counseling. Since it was determined that, apart from issues related to Mark, there were no impediments to my daily life, I moved in with my kids to my parents' home. I'm sorry for making you change schools at such a time. It's okay. It's just the right time for high school entrance exams anyway, we'd have to part with everyone regardless. I'm a bit sad to be away from my friends, but it's much better than living with that man. Children are truly precious to me. I'm still continuing counseling. Not having the cause of the trouble around makes a big difference. Once I get a bit better, I plan to start working seriously. For the sake of these kids, and for myself as well.